And welcome to this video on reading and constructing graphs. We are going to focus on reading these graphs and not constructing them. So when we're reading graphs, there are several types of graphs that you're going to encounter. The first type that we're going to talk about is the bar graph. And bar graphs can either be vertical or horizontal. Vertical bar graphs are going to have the bars that you can see right here. Those bars will be going up and down. This, however, is what's called a horizontal bar graph because the bars, okay, these are the bars, all right, these are all in a horizontal alignment. And that's why it's called a horizontal bar graph. So we can tell quite a few things from this horizontal bar graph. This, first of all, we have the title up here. Okay. We have our horizontal axis. Over here, we have the vertical axis. Okay. And our horizontal axis gives us the cost to drive 25 miles for each one of these model cars. And we can tell that out of these, the Honda Accord is the most expensive to drive. The Chevy Spark is the least expensive to drive. We can also, you know, figure out specific things. So maybe we want to know what is the cost for the Elantra. Okay. Well, when we see the Elantra, it stops right here, right? So if we kind of think about kind of coming down, all right, like it's kind of in this area here. So we could choose the amount from a list of things. We could say that it's a little more than $1.50. Okay. Several different things that we can tell here. We can ask which two let's see. How about this for a question? Which two cars have approximately the same cost? Okay. Well, there's a couple that are close. Like these two are fairly close. In my opinion, I think these two are much closer. So maybe we would say that it is the Prius and the Tesla. So, several different things that we can tell from this horizontal bar graph. Now, another type of graph that we might see is one that is called, this is called a line graph. And Again, there are lots of things that we can tell from this line graph. Um, so something that we can tell, let's see, what month uh had the most sales? Okay. Well, the number sold is over here. Okay. So which month has the most? Well, right there. August had the most sales. We could also say, um, let's say between what 2 months did we see the largest increase in sales? Well, if we're looking at the largest increase, we're looking at where the line is the steepest. Okay? And our line happens to be the steepest right here. Okay? So that means that between July and August, we saw the largest increase in sales. Um, there are other things that we can tell. What 2 months had the same number of sales? Um, we can see the same number of sales here and here. Uh, the least amount of sales down here in December. So many things that we can tell from this line graph. And we can use this then to to answer a lot of questions about our company, like if we're going to sell the most tires in August, maybe we need to order more tires. Maybe we don't need to order too many tires and sell out of what we have as we're going into the end of the year, because you see we don't have another peak until March. um, and if we're in business for ourselves, let's think about this realistically. Why would we see a spike in sales, a short little spike in sales there in March? Um, you know what people start getting in March, a little bit before March? They start getting their tax returns back. And if they need tires on their car, that's a time that they're going to be buying tires. Um, and then, in August, they're looking at, perhaps they've gone on vacation over the summer, and now they've realized, man, my tires, they're really bad. I should probably get tires before the winter comes in. So they're getting them there in August. um, and very few people are buying tires around Christmas. That's just not the Christmas present that everybody wants. Some people do that. All right, so let's take a look here at our last type of graph. And this graph is what's called a circle graph. Okay. And just like everything else, the circle graph, it tells us a lot of information. Okay. So when we're dealing with a circle graph, these little sections are split into percents. And we can tell a lot by these percents. Um, we can say one question that we can ask, let's ask this one. What two groups make up the same percentage of questions as the welding applications? Well, welding applications is 30%. Okay, so we need two groups that are also going to be 30%. Well, let's start looking at the other groups. Let's look at occupational skills. Well, if it were occupational skills, that's 24%. And in order to get to 30%, we'd need something worth 6. So that doesn't work. Then quality control. Well, that's 16%. And in order to get something worth 30%, we'd need a 14%. 16 and 14 is 30. And we don't have that. Cutting applications, though. Cutting applications is 22%. And to get to 30, we would need 8 more. Well, that works. So our answer is the gouging applications and cutting applications together make up 30% of the questions. So something else that we can tell, okay, what if there are 150 total questions? Okay, we want to know how much studying are we going to have to do in each one of these topics for our exam. And there are 150 total questions. Well, if 30% of them are relating to welding applications, then we could set up x over 150 is equal to 30 over 100. Okay. And that would give us that x would be 45. There would be 45 questions for welding applications. Okay. How about for the occupational skills? Well, x over 150 is going to be 24 over 100. And that means the x is going to be 36. There's going to be 36 occupational skills questions. So we can tell how many questions of each type are going to be on this exam. We could also figure up like about half of the exam would be how many, what sections would be about half of the exam. There's so many different things that we can figure out here. But graphs really give us a lot of information in a very concise little package, and we can figure out so many things about these graphs. So I hope this video has been helpful in learning how to read different types of graphs. Please be sure to reach out with any questions, and remember, we are here to help in any way we can.